Hello, salut, fets, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you do not know me, my name is Lucindy, and the reason why you may not know me is because you're new here. So if you are new here, welcome. You will be staying by the end of this video, and I will go ahead and let you know that now. So in this video, we will be talking about, you can tell already by the title, I know, but 5 tips that I feel like college students anywhere can use, whether that's community college, university, whether that's private, public, whether that's in-state, out-of-state, out the country, abroad, international, it does not matter. These are 5 tips that I personally have used and I can vouch for, and also I've seen peers that I've interacted closely with also use, and it has worked for them. So please be advised that these are my 5 tips. If I exclude something that you feel like is super helpful, feel free, don't be shy, go in the comment section. We're nice over here, we're a vibe. We do not cuss, judge, or discriminate. So without further ado, we're gonna start with tip number 1. Apply. Please apply for financial aid. I feel like this is something that, one of those things that should go without saying, you would think. But little do you know, there are a lot of individuals who simply do not apply for student aid because they do not think they will be awarded any. And I'm here to tell you, even if you do not think you will be awarded any kind of aid, still apply, especially if it is a no-cost application, just like the one I'm about to tell you right now, FAFSA. That is, I feel like, the number one. That is honestly a good place to start. That should be your number 1 application. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that right now. I am here 2 degrees later with $0 in student debt. Not saying that that's gonna be everyone's story, not saying that that will be your story, but it is my story, and I have gladly collected 2 degrees with $0 in student debt. Right now, I hold a bachelor's of science in biology with a minor in public health, and also an associate in science. And I, as of now, have $0 in student debt to pay off. So what is FAFSA? FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. The free application for federal student aid. The reason why the emphasis is on free is because, 1, this is an application and a way to apply for student aid that is at 0 cost to you. Another reason why this is important to note that the FAFSA is a free application is because if you are on a website and you are about to apply for FAFSA and you are about to enter your credit card, debit card information to finalize the application and submit, get off that site immediately. Leave, exit, abort, leave. That is not, you're being scammed because there are a lot of sites out here that are bad sites. And in order to eliminate that, your sister girl here has kindly included links throughout this video that I speak about that you can access. So the FAFSA will be linked below. What are some things that you may need for the FAFSA? Well, things that would be helpful to have handy are your information, your parents' information, your tax information, like any kind of financial information, your driver's license, your social security number or alien registration number if you are not a citizen, and signatures. And depending on how you submit your application, you may submit a signature virtually, electronically, or in paper by sending it in. Next, we have scholarships. There are tons and tons of free money out here, people. Please go collect it and pay for your education. Once again, I will say that applying does not guarantee that you will get it. However, you are not losing anything by applying, especially if it is a free application or you can submit for a scholarship for free. I have included 2 websites that I kind of used throughout when I first started applying for university, college, after exiting high school, during my last year in high school or whatnot, even throughout college. It's not just if you are in high school, even throughout college. So one of those is scholarships.com and another one of those is FastWeb. Both recommended to me by other of my peers that were applying at the time. Work study. Work study is another opportunity that you can pay for your education through your school. What work study is basically where you are offered an opportunity to work in a position, in a department or whatnot in the school, and in exchange for that, you can contribute the funds earned towards your tuition. I do not know too much about work study because I did not take advantage of that opportunity, but that is something that you can definitely look into at your specific school and get more information on and see if you qualify and how does that look, what does that look like for you. Tip number 2, prioritize your time to allow yourself freedom. Prioritize, not just your time, just prioritize, period, so that you can allow yourself more freedom. The biggest reputation that college hold is a boring place or a super party place. But I'm here to tell you that that can be, both realities are true. College does not have to hold the dreadful reputation that it does of just endless schoolwork and tireless hours of studying and all of this brain power being invested in your GPA and getting straight, all of this pressure that's placed on yourselves, especially if you're first gen, to do like exceedingly above all like accolades, all of that. So I'm here to tell you, the better you are when it comes to prioritizing, the more freedom you will allow yourself in throughout your journey getting your education. I had to learn that in a very hard manner towards the last 2 years of my undergraduate experience. Now, I will say that procrastination is an absolute leech. And I'm saying that specifically from experience. I am a huge procrastinator by heart. And I will say that is not helpful. I found myself a lot of the times spending countless hours and cramming 3 to 4 weeks of material in a 48-hour period. Really, if we want to keep it all the way transparent, in a 12 to 14-hour period, I would be trying to cram like 3 weeks of information and just hoping for an A. Have you ever heard the saying of don't pray for an A yet study for a B? That was me. I would study at the last minute and then give the rest to God. Jesus, please come through, God. If you give me this A this one time, I promise I'm not gonna do it again. I'm gonna make sure that I study 2 weeks in advance before my exams. I'm gonna keep up with the date and blah, 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 blah. Tout bagay, ou toujou la gen tout bagay nan men Jésus. Yes! Give it to. No. So when it comes to a social life in college, a lot of people, you know, you like to party, you like to go out. If that's the case, that's fine. I'm just here to tell you, you can do that. I'm not the one that's gonna come here and be the police and say, don't do that. Yes, you can. Do it. Do it. Go out. Have a social life. You're young. You're in your late teens, early 20s during this time of your life. And this is your time that you just want to learn yourself, find yourself, and explore. I'm just here to say, do so appropriately. What does that mean? Time management is a thing. It's real. And you should get to know time management pretty early. Have a strong relationship with time management because you will thank yourself later. I had to learn that as well the hard way. And part of the tip to eliminating procrastination and also keeping that like balance in between your social life and your academic performance is organization. So having a calendar is super important. Whether it's like a calendar, an agenda, whatever it is, a planner. And you can get those at whatever supply store, Amazon online, Walmart, Target, wherever you choose to shop. Even the dollar store, you can get those now. So a calendar allows you to, allow me personally to be able to have everything, all the due dates that you tend to keep in your head on paper, plain and in front of you. Not all the time you need to go back and refer to the syllabus and remember a test date or count on your professor to remind you. You can have that date set well in advance. And even what I would do sometimes, if my exam was on a Wednesday, I would put my exam on my calendar for a Monday because I just simply know how I am. But with that said, organizing your coursework and keeping track of what's due when and the timeline that you have for everything is definitely a huge help and will come to save your. Now, on to tip number 3. Find the study method that works for you and stick to it. I'm here to tell you that one person's studying techniques may not work for another person. What does that mean? Just because person A stayed up for 16 hours and crammed 4 weeks of information and got a high B or low A on an exam doesn't mean you can do the same thing. Also, another example, just because someone can read the textbook and go to class and listen to lecture and not have to crack open any other study material in between, doesn't mean that's gonna work for you. What am I actually saying? I'm saying that you need to find whatever study method that helps you retain and understand the information the most and stick to that method, altering it as you go and accordingly. So if you feel as though you study a better way with a certain material or for a certain type of test than you do, if you feel as though you study better for math using flashcards and learning and memorizing the equations. However, when it comes to your epidemiology course, your biology course, you find that you learn better with recording lectures, re-listening to lectures, and reading the textbook, highlighting in the textbook. That is what you do. But all in all, the point is to find the study method that works for you and stick to it. Alter it as you go, but stick to it. Find what works for you and stick to it. Now, some of the things that I use whenever it comes to studying is, and that's just me, music. I'm the type of person that, because studying is so boring, I need some kind of, whether it's stimulation or some kind of hype, some kind of, get me in the zone, give me some dope beats, get me feeling like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to pass this test, you know what I'm saying? So I like to have either a study playlist or just find the instrumentals to some of my favorite songs and just listen and vibe to the beat. That way I can, and that depends on what I'm studying. Some things I'm studying or going over, I can listen to the song, no problem. But a lot of times with intense studying, I would listen to the instrumental for a song, and that way I can get the same feel, the same vibe for the song without having the words, the lyrics themselves, interfere with what I'm going over and going through in my head. Other things that I do is I like to study in a quiet, minimal distraction place. I also like to use a technique called the Pomodoro technique. What that is basically studying with breaks. So one example one example of using the Pomodoro method is studying for a 25-minute pocket of time with a 5-minute break afterwards. Or you can do it for a longer period for studying or working out problems, whatever it is that you're doing, for a 50-minute period of time with a 10-minute break. The point is that you have a period that you're looking forward to, that you're working towards, where you are going to be able to take a break. It's almost like an incentivized kind of technique. I study for these 25 minutes. I take a break for 5 minutes. So it's almost giving you something that you're leading and building towards. That technique I find works pretty well, especially when trying to eliminate burnout when studying for extreme hours, very long hours at a time. I.e. when I was studying for the MCAT, which is a very, very extensive exam for those entering medical school like myself. Other ways that you can really excel when it comes to, studying and making sure you understand material is doing practice exams and practice tests. This means that if your professor provides you with a practice exam, a practice quiz, whatever it is, do those. Because I found, especially throughout my experience personally, a lot of the times the practice exams and questions that your professor posts for you that a lot of people sometimes never even look at or care to do, those end up being the very same questions on the test. Don't sleep on those practices. They're given to you for a reason, especially if they are exams from previous semesters that your professor has taught that very same course in. Those are golden. Those are literal like gold when I was experiencing undergrad. So don't sleep on practice questions in general, whether it's practice questions in your textbook. Don't sleep on those. Those come through and really help. YouTube videos. Organic chemistry, I can dedicate my grade from that course to study groups and YouTube. Leah Forsyth, if anyone knows, was the plug for organic chemistry. And comment down below if you were in my organic chemistry class or if you know who I'm talking about. Leah Forsyth, or the organic chemistry tutor, came in clutch when it came to understanding those different paths and reactions in organic chemistry. So YouTube, don't sleep on YouTube. Sometimes hearing someone else explain the very same thing you learned in class, explained by your professor, hearing someone else explain it to you and put it in different words, different examples, will sometimes help you retain or understand an information better. Tip number 4, rest. Now, I'm just go ahead and say that I am a huge hypocrite when it comes to this tip, because I was the person that was pulling all-nighters back to back. I was the person that was not sleeping. I was the person like, team no sleep, what's up, we going in, like we gonna get, no. I found myself to be my most sleep deprived when I was not sleeping a lot during undergrad because of staying up to cram for exams, and also my 18 credit hour load per semester, the last, I want to say, year and a half of undergrad. So sleeping is very important. There's a lot of benefits to rest, not just sleep, resting in undergrad. I would say that a lot of the things I was experiencing was due to sleep deprivation, whether that's daytime sleepiness, fatigue, stress. Like, getting an adequate amount of rest has proven to bring on like reduced stress levels, stress and anxiety in general. It improves your mood, improves your academic performance, better mental health, increased concentration and memory, and an improved mood. So with rest, I have also found that I performed better on my exams. What am I saying? I'm saying that if you have 5 hours before you take an exam and it's the wee hours of the night and you're trying to decide whether you should continue to pry your eyes open and study the remainder of this chapter that you probably should have studied long ago before, if you're trying to decide whether you should stay up and review this last piece of information or if you should go ahead and take a rest, I'm here to tell you, I'm not telling you don't study, don't review, don't use your time, every minute counts, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, those hours of rest before an exam are crucial, because I found myself in situations where I would stay up for long hours studying for an exam, only to go into the exam with my brain not even able to recollect a lot of the information I literally just studied. And that was because I was cramming the information. I was not sleeping and my brain was not at its optimum functionality, if you may. And that is a lot because of lack of sleep and rest. So sleep, guys, sleep. Y'all know me. Last but not least, the 5th point. Student involvement. Yes, school is hard. I majored in biology. It was very, very tough. Extreme. All my bio majors stand up. All my chem majors stand up. And other majors as well. But if you were a science major, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you are, on top of that, pre-med, so student involvement. College, at the end of the day, is an experience. This is where you will be probably around the most of peers around your age, all in the same place. College is, depending on what college you go to. College is a literal melting pot of people from all different places, all different cities, states, countries, all different walks of life, different practices, religions, different ages, different backgrounds, different races, different cultures. College is literally an opportunity for you to network. That is super important. Connections, forming connections and networking and putting yourself out there will come to be it will prove itself to be extremely critical. Because honestly, post-grad depression is a thing. But post-grad in general, like once you graduate, listen, honey, you are thrown to the wolves to survive for yourself. It's just like, okay, here's the degree, man. Alex, go be an adult, go be in a career, go figure it out, whatever that looks like for you. Now, of course we have guidance. Not to say that we don't have people guiding us. We have guidance, but post-grad, that feeling, speaking from experience and also from a lot of my peers that I connect with on a more personal level, and have close interaction with, post-grad depression, post-grad confusion, just post-grad like emotions, and just your mental post-grad is a very real life thing. A lot of times you find yourself in situations of, well, I'm not gonna say for everyone, but like I said, from personal experience and experience of others that I interact with closely, there's a lot of times where you find yourself in that thought of, okay, now what? So it's like, what do you do first? Because you're coming from a place of structure, and having to be at a certain place at a certain time, having your labs, maintaining schoolwork, your grade point average, your student involvement, your this, your that, all of these things, all this structure. Into now, it's almost like you're having to maintain a lot of that structure on your own. You don't have that 8 a.m. class that you're late to. I'm late to all the time. You don't have a lot of the very same things that provided structure for you in undergrad. Now in the real world, you have to create that structure for yourself, whatever that looks like. So student involvement. Back to my original point, student involvement is very important, whether that's joining an organization, whether that's starting an organization, whether that's sports, whatever it is, or just interacting with your peers is very, very important. Forming those connections and just networking in general, because a lot of times you will find that your environment will change and you will not be around a lot of those very same peers you just spent for however many years with. However, I will say, in addition to that, every person you meet in undergrad and that you have a connection with, it is not guaranteed that you are going to have that same connection or that connection period with that person, either post-grad or is in the middle of grad years. You may start off with a connection with someone and it may dwindle or fade. That is okay. That is a normal thing in undergrad life, college life, whether that's post-grad, whether that's a graduate school, whatever it is. I am here to tell you that losing people is something else that is okay. College is an experience. Student involvement, yes, is important, but I also am here to tell you that you may lose people at the same rate that you're meeting people. And it's not to say that you're forming senseless connections, but it's just to say that this is a normal process of life. You are not going to have the same group of people like of 10, 20, 15, whatever deep that you did in college. You might not have that. It might be like 1, 2, or 3 if you're lucky. I'm just saying that forming those connections are great. They're awesome. That's the purpose. That's part of a huge experience in college. But also, please keep in the back of your mind that you are not guaranteed to have that relationship with that person for a lifetime. Anyhow, those were 5 tips that I feel like helped me and can definitely help you. If not all 5, 1, 2, 3, however many that you leave with in your bag, I feel like were super helpful for me in college. And let me know if you try any of these things, if you have tried any of these things, or if you have any comments that you would like to put of things that you tried in undergrad that I didn't even think of. Like I said, these are simply 5 tips, not all the tips. And I can do a part 2 to this video if you'd like. So just like this video, let's get the likes up and see. Get their interaction up, get the comments up, share all the things, subscribe, and please hit that bell so you know the next time that I post. With that said, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!